That's why this thing has gained so much traction. That's why the ministers are getting involved as well. It's because of the people that Minnie, like she's affiliated with quite important people.
Because even the NGOs that have been formulated to specifically look at these issues of gender-based violence, they're just there for the money.
When you're a man that spends half of your time bashing women and degrading them as much as McG does, then after 9. That's what happened.
Wait, so you were almost kidnapped?
Yeah, I was gone. I was gone. Guys, human trafficking alone is $158 billion industry.
Countries like your Dubai, you see it as a fleshy country like this. But if you check the real behind the scenes stories of people who really built that beautiful city that we see, are people that some of them were trafficked. They happen in suburban areas. You'll never find a shipment of human beings in a township.
You can be colonized to whatever level, but at some point you need to realize this system is against you. And black people seems like they don't want to realize it.
Yes. Do you get what I mean? People are being buried in their backyards by their boyfriends, but we're not saying anything. We're saying, the GBV in this country is serious, but we're not doing anything about it. Now we want to summon McG. Really?
It doesn't add substance.
I get that.
Are you saying he must not be summoned?
Listen, it's of agents to summon him, but again, like, let's look at the agency of situations that are transpiring in our country. We can't want to summon over something. How many cases do we have of similar essence to this one? McG is not the first one that had a similar incident. Look at what happened to DJ Fresh when he was still at Metro. DJ Fresh was flagged by the BCCSA for the comment that he made of mentioning that word, missionary. So they flagged him. Now, Metro FM only took action after there was a listener complaint. Why didn't they take action before? So that is where my worry lies. You are supposed to take action before. You're not supposed to wait for the public to voice it out. You are standing in a high position of rendering information to the public. Take action and responsibility for everything that is happening. So they're waiting for noise to happen so that they can take action. Where is accountability there? Where is accountability?
It's exactly what I was saying.
Yes.
That without pressure from the public, they will not take action. So for instance,
Certainly.
if the public was like, oh yeah, you called Minnie, you said what you said about Minnie, we don't want to say the same words here on this podcast.
If that show had 6 views, that episode, it wouldn't be news today if it had 6 views. But right now, consider it has more views because people are interested in knowing what happened. The minute you type McG, it's linked to Minnie Dlamini right now.
Yeah, of course.
Whether you go on Google or wherever. So people become more interested. That gives them more traction. And it also comes back to his acquaintance associates, your Chillers Punch, your DSTV. What are they saying? They're sitting back. They're not commenting on anything. DSTV, apparently, they're not going to air that episode. Why?
Yeah, so
Why?
And I wanted to come to that because if you remember, Kat, our first episode, we spoken about it was the time where MultiChoice had acquired the broadcasting rights for number of podcasts. Skim GP, I remember Open Chats. We also have Podcasting Show. I think the entire network. So, and I spoke about the BCCSA. Because now I'm not sure if the BCCSA has so much power in terms of podcasting, alternative media like YouTube and all of that. YouTube has its own guidelines, right? Community guidelines. If you violate them, they'll take you out or they give you a strike. After some time, they'll take you out. I know a lot of people that their channels have been cancelled totally, right? Because they broke the community guidelines. But on TV, you've got the BCCSA, Broadcasting Commission of South Africa, that actually regulates what you say. So, Msunari, you're out. So I remember we spoke about it and I said, it's going to be a problem on TV to have podcasting chill on TV because either that deal is not going to last, or it's just going to neutralize them, like you were saying, like you suggested. It's going to neutralize them, but it will not work.
It won't work.
We see MultiChoice saying we're not airing that
why?
episode.
So now are they going to be selective on what they're going to air and what they're not going to air?
I just wonder what is the content of that deal in terms of the financial aspect of it. Like for instance, do we give you money up front to say we buy broadcasting rights for like 50 episodes, and then now in the process of producing those 50 episodes, if we come across a situation like this, then what happens? Because now we've got 49 episodes now because one episode we couldn't air.
I think there's going to be
what are the terms and conditions
that they're not going to air. Like it's inevitable.
Look, guys,
with McG,
it's
going to take the whole year, man.
Is on another level, bro.
I remember saying that it's also more about the people affiliated with DSTV. For example, Minnie, like you guys might not know, she's big.
Yeah.
She's big on mainstream.
Big people, especially in DSTV. The big wigs in DSTV. That's why this thing has gained so much traction. That's why the ministers are getting involved as well. It's because of the people that Minnie, like she's affiliated with quite important people in the entertainment industry. Hence, they're calling this to action. So DSTV has no choice. They're not going to air episodes that taint certain people's images. And at the end of the day, McG was fired on YFM for the very same thing, guys. Why did we think he's going to give us different content just because he's on YouTube?
Look, we are not saying McG must be a different person. To expect someone to be a different person from who they really are, that's really unfair. What we are saying, or what we are asking as the society or as the public, is to say, where is this going now? Is this now going to force the government to now want to regulate alternative media platforms such as podcasting? Because that's a huge problem. That now includes some of us to now get involved directly into those conversations.
Yeah, because I think it gave the government an idea of also looking at different aspects of the regulations, where they can tackle and where they can close tab for the online media, internet stuff. And it's going to be bad for people who are creatives because like we're going to be restricted at some points. I'm not saying what McG did is good. It's totally wrong. I disagree with it on every level. It's a misogynistic behavior that is degrading to women's rights and them as people within the society. But what I'm saying is the government needs to have a balanced force of attending to issues in the same balance. Because if you take a look at it, online GBV, it's going to become like most NGOs that are functional, that are focusing at issues that are looking at GBV. I think they are...
Online GBV, what is that?
Online GBV, like
bullying.
That's bullying, bro.
Social media bullying?
You get me.
So why do we reduce it to gender? Because it's social media bullying.
It has come to that since the unfolding circumstances.
No, but here's my problem. When we take situations and only reduce them to only one aspect of it, that's where I have a problem. Because social media bullying is social media bullying.
True.
Why now do we make it a gender-based thing?
I think in the sense of how McG insulted Minnie, it's not the first time someone who has a platform who does degrade women in that sense. So that's why they're saying it's online GBV.
Would you say
GBV as a whole also it shouldn't be looked at as women. Gender-based. It's gender-based violence. It's violence against you as a man, against a child, against a woman.
But we know how the government and the law enforcement officers they look at it. They look at it when we say gender-based violence.
Automatically,
it's women-based violence.
You that you grasp enormity that it's one-sided. That's what your psych tells you. So we need to break out of that because even the NGOs that have been formulated to specifically look at these issues of gender-based violence, they're just there for the money. I'm sorry, I'm going to say this, they're there for the money. Because most of them, we don't even hear from them after some time. I can make an example right now. Do you still remember the hashtag not in my name?
Yeah.
Where is that organization?
Yeah.
But they needed that organization to rise, but it's long heard of.
Of course.
Where are they? So they need to be consistent, and we can't be doing paper companies that are gonna solve. They're not gonna solve our problems. We need action. We need actions, regulations, parliament committee portfolios. They're not gonna help us in anything, bro.
Yeah.
You're just speaking. We need action, so that people can grasp the enormity that this is wrong. This is where we are supposed to work at.
Prosecution is that what you're talking about?
I'm speaking about that. People need to abide by the laws and do the right thing in this country.
Yeah. But here's what come in, Kat.
I just wanted to say also, at the end of the day, like, when you're a man that spends half of your time bashing women and degrading them as much as McG does, then raitse hore ole after 9. So are tloheleng McG.
Wait. Oh,
in the hood,
what
men who do that, men who live to bash women and who hate women, who show that kind of aggression towards women, are usually women themselves. So give McG a panty and let's keep it pushing.
Hey, that's a strong one.
It's the truth.
Toby, do you want to comment? You look like you want to say something. Off camera. What?
No, can you not maybe consider the possibility that it stems from a place of anger?
What kind of anger? Why do you have this much?
Women due to treatment they've experienced as the man, the individual.
Yeah. So that could be the case as well.
Yeah, because traumas like that, they do exist, and you take a look at cases like Tsabo.
So if anyone didn't hear what Toby was saying, because he doesn't have a microphone, by the way, he's saying, can we not consider the fact that could stem from a place of anger, from certain injustices that men have faced, towards women? Is that what you're saying? Okay, cool. Yes.
Yeah.
We could, right? We really could. But then at the end of the day, you as a person need to look at yourself and fix those issues. McG bashes his wife alone on that podcast.
What do you mean?
So you've never heard the comments he makes about his girl?
Look, I do watch Podcasting Chill, but I don't watch certain episodes where he said those things.
There's derogatory terms.
You
that
select.
No, I select episodes. Like, for instance, I watched a certain episode with Mateki Two Shoes.
Legendary.
Because I love the guy, he's very active. So I don't wake up in the morning and say, or at any random day and say, let me watch Podcasting Chill. I usually watch like hectic podcasts, like really dope conversations, 3 hours. Lex Friedman, Chris Williamson, Jordan Peterson. Those are my kind of podcasts, right? Yeah, but I do watch Podcasting Chill sometimes. So I've never heard him bashing the wife. The only time that I heard him speaking about his wife was when something like, I don't know, he was speaking about like I think he wanted to launch his new what do you call it? Cheetah's Punch or something.
Yeah, and she
was like,
speaking
the lady's eating my money, what. And the lady decided to add a new flavor.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, then at the end of the episode, then he introduced the new Cheetah's Punch. Yeah. So for me, because I come from a marketing background, my profession, strategic corporate communication, I understand how, those kind of style of communicating and words and messaging can actually work as a campaign, to launch certain things. Yeah. So that's how I understood it. But you can enlighten me on that.
Look, it's, for example, when you're in the hood, right? And there's a guy that's asking you out, and as a Han, you don't pay him any mind. They resort to insults immediately after.
Whoa, okay.
So that's why I'm saying, like, men who do that usually are secretly attracted to the same gender, or they just really hate women. You can't justify it by trauma.
Why would you hate women?
Because you want to be one.
How do you say?
I don't know.
But listen, okay, cool. So
it's not for us to. We're not psychologists.
Loving people, you wouldn't hate women, bro.
We're not psychologists.
Loving people, caring people.
I think we're overlooking certain things, though.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I think we're really overlooking certain things. But anyway, so did you guys forget that at some point there was a time where I think it was the Jup Jup episode where the Amanda DuPont situation came about.
Yeah.
And both the hosts of the show, which is Saul Penduka and McG. Ghost Lady really never gets into trouble, by the way.
Because she's a ghost.
That's
her brilliant idea.
They don't hold her accountable.
Okay. So situation happened, and then they were dragging them together with Jub to say. I remember even people were saying McG and Saul, they support rapists, and at some point Minnie at some point supported the whole notion that Mac and Saul are actually rapists because they managed to host someone who's a rapist in their own platform. And I think the whole beef started there.
Yeah.
For me, that's how it works.
Yeah.
It was a declaration of war.
Hence, get this whole thing, Yantin, because how are we using this as an example? When we've had so many serious cases of GBV, and we're using this. It looks like a personal feud between two people. Yes, McG hurled insults at her that he wasn't supposed to, but it still looks personal. Do you know what I mean?
And the only people who are gaining traction out of this is them.
Yeah.
The only people who are getting business out of this, not in front of our four eyes, is them.
Do you think Minnie Dlamini not saying anything publicly, like coming out to the statement, do you think she gets to have like some sort of leverage from this?
Yeah, bro.
Do you think so?
Do you think right now Minnie is blooming at home, like chilling and all that? Bro, business is coming because like they're feeling for her. Business is coming, opportunities are rising.
So she's chowing the money in the meantime?
I don't know about that, bro. But I'm just saying, like, wherever she is, like, everybody's there to say, hey, bro, we are here. Of which we are because of what happened. It was wrong. But what I'm saying is, let us not become opportunistic. Sorry about that. About this whole thing. Because at the end, it's going to become a thing of commodifying this, and it's not going to help anyone, bro.
Yeah.
Like, we need to deal with the core issue of the whole situation and run with it.
Yeah. I'm just worried that, this whole thing might end up in the hands of regulation. And we know the people that have the power to regulate, they have no idea about this thing that we're doing. They have no idea about podcasting. They don't know what is this thing.
Exactly. And they're going to do it based off of the wrong information.
Yes.
That's the problem.
So they're gonna think they're probably gonna replicate the model, the regulation model that they use for mainstream.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
You get what I mean?
But
they're probably going to pick up from BCCSA and be like, okay, BCCSA, where it says TV, they say podcast. The same contract. Where it says show, like where it says YouTube, there'll be like a TV channel. What? You understand? I mean, where it says TV channel, there'll be like a YouTube channel. But
then it's going to force us to go to countries like Japan and seek refuge there and do our podcast.
No ways. What are you saying?
I'll do that, bro.
We're going to leave the country?
Yeah, I'll leave the country and go to Japan and make sure that I open the podcast channel there. And make sure that I speak current affairs of here. It's going to lead to that if they're going to restrict us to a point whereby we can't even have a say. They need to look at how they're going to arrange the regulations.
What country do you
and
think
the law.
we can migrate to if South Africa tends to be very strict with the laws of doing podcast?
The one that you'd prefer, you yourself, because I'm pretty certain that it won't be similar.
Yeah, that's too far. Kat, where would you go?
I'm not going anywhere. I'm sorry. I'm not going to leave where I'm safe to go and be a minority somewhere else.
You're going to
and
fight.
then start being chased by cops. I have a big ass mouth. The Japanese government wouldn't shame. I'm okay.
Yeah. So if it is regulated and it starts to say you can't say certain things,
they can't tell me what to say.
They'll cancel your platform.
No, they can't.
They'll arrest you.
On what grounds? See, that's the thing. It's the internet. We've been doing this longer than they have.
Bro, Ricky said it. Remember when
we're
Ricky
the kids of the social media. We're like we know it like a back of our hands. There's nothing you can't stop. The internet. You literally can't.
Internet.
Yeah.
You get me.
Sangindao.
Hashtag. All right. We'll see when that time comes, right?
Yeah.
We'll really see. Okay. Let's move to the next topic. The stuff that I want to really talk about right now, that I want us to talk about right now. Kat, something really happened during the week. You say you went to Randburg.
Hey, Cishe Jonja. Oh my God. So, human trafficking, and I think a lot of people online are aware. It's just weird that it's not actually spoken about on like live stream media. They're using new ways to try and get girls. And it's not just girls actually that are being trafficked. I found out it's actually
people generally,
people generally.
Yeah.
And it's mostly the youth because we're the ones that are desperate for jobs. So they're targeting graduates, they're targeting kids that are fresh out of high school, you know, and under the guise of it's mostly call center jobs. But this one was a media advertising agency in Randburg.
As they posed.
Yeah, as they posted, like they sent out an email. I had applied for the job prior.
Literally.
So they sent an email expressing the interest, and then I must come for an interview. And it was on Oak Avenue. I don't know if you guys know. Yeah, it's Oak Avenue near the multi-choice building in Randburg. Yeah, and then when you get there at the gate, you sign in. It's a normal office park.
Wow.
There's nothing sus about it, you know? So what happened was, so I get there, and then the receptionist notes me down, says, oh yes, we do have an interview with you. Like they've got a whole list of names that they've sent out. Like I guess these are the people that they sent emails to. And then I happened to go to the bathroom. I don't know why, because I didn't need to pee.
Okay.
I went to the bathroom. Whilst I was there, I was on the phone with someone, and then this guy walks in. It's a Nigerian guy. I heard from the accents. And he asks, I guess it was the receptionist. They're in the bathroom, right? They don't think that anyone else is in this bathroom. It's on the 3rd floor.
The bathroom is close to the reception. Or you can overhear the conversation.
No, I didn't go to... I'm in the bathroom. They're in the bathroom with me.
Okay.
But I'm in a stall. It's closed, so they don't know that I'm in there.
Okay.
Yes, and then he asked the lady, how many girls arrived? And then she says, no, there's 30. Then the guy goes on a call, and he goes... I even remember this conversation. Biggest boss. Nah. And he says, yeah, we've got 30 girls here. They're ready for shipment. They're all from Soweto.
No way.
I was like, hey.
No ways.
So this whole time, I'm like, okay, you can't panic now, girl, because you're going. They just said 30 girls. It's a shipment. You're out. And then they left the bathroom. So in every single building, there's an emergency exit. Thank God. That's the exit I used instead of using the receptionist. I left through the emergency exit, and even when I went past those security guards that were there, the first thing they say to me is, how? When I saw qedile. And that was sus for me because clearly y'all know what's going on here. There's girls that are coming in, but they're not getting out. So you're like asking yourselves, why am I the one now getting out? Yeah. That's what happened.
Wait, so you were almost kidnapped.
Yeah, I was gone. I was gone. So what
shook as me?
What pisses me off is that let's highlight the fact that the private sector is renting out these buildings and these office parks to these people. You can't tell me that you're leasing out a building to a person, but you don't know what business they are running in that building. You know what I mean? That's why the government can't really get involved when it comes, because it's a private sector problem, and we're not highlighting that.
No, but when we have now a problem of people that are being kidnapped, and you know
it's
it's no longer just private. You know, it's a serious issue. And you know the building that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty certain it's where I once went for an interview. I think back in 2019, towards maybe end of the year or maybe mid-year, I think. I don't remember the exact date. And there was, this company that obviously sent the same address, Oak Avenue, right? I'm sure if I can go to my emails, I can find something from dating back to that time. But for me, it was sales. You know, I just went there. They told me about sales, like ground sales, where you go and approach people at the mall. You know, those clientele people. Yeah, that kind of work. But I wasn't interested in that kind of work. You know, but the same address that you're talking about, I know it for sure.
Yeah, so a lot of people came out on social media. It was on Facebook where it was trending, where they were like just basically posting all of these addresses. And that address in Oak Avenue, it's a different company every time someone posts it. So they did say that they went for sales and it was the same MO. Some said it was an insurance company. Some now it's a media and advertising. They change their names. They change all the time.
So the lease, I just wanna try and understand the lease agreement from these people who are renting there. What is the relationship? The person who's getting the funds for the people who are leasing the building. What is the relationship with these people who keep on coming to do business?
Yeah, and is he aware?
Grounds?
I don't think they care. Guys, human trafficking alone is $158 billion industry.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, how the private sector works is it's less about humans, more about the money, more about the business. As long as you're paying your rent on time.
Yeah.
I really,
it's probably
you
lot,
could be
man.
selling drugs. I couldn't give a damn. Yeah. That's the thing. There's no care into what are you using my building for? You know, like, I don't care. As long as you're paying me every month, it's fine. But, like, girls are going...
You can do what you want to do with it.
Just 29 girls were gone. Those girls that were there, they're all gone.
And it could have been you.
That's the crazy part. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Bro, I'm still trying to wrap that
this is happening every single day. They know that the unemployment rates in South Africa is so high. They know we're desperate to get jobs. So they're targeting us that are desperate to get these jobs.
Kat, wait. So are you saying we could be sitting here today recording this episode and you will not be sitting in that chair? Is that what you're saying?
I'd be somewhere out in Thailand fighting for my life.
No ways, man.
Yeah. You gotta laugh about it, because if I don't laugh, guys, I'll crash out. And I ain't trying to crash out now.
You know, looking at the complex playing factors of human trafficking in the world, it has to do with gender inequality, lack of economic opportunities.
Employment, like you're saying.
Yeah.
They target them because they know they're looking for a job.
Yeah, and also they're looking for cheap labor in other countries where they can outsource. You get me? Countries like your Dubai, you see it as a fleshy country like this. But if you check the real behind the scenes stories of people who really built that beautiful city that we see, are people that some of them were trafficked from different countries.
That's crazy.
Me? So those factors, they come into play. And also when you look at where these traffickings are happening, they happen in suburban areas. You'll never find a shipment of human beings in a township. A township is treated like a concentration camp where they know that if they pull stunts like that,
the community
will voice it out. So they do these things in suburban areas because they know that it's quiet, it's not noticeable, it's more conglomerated, treated type of way. So
you don't expect stuff like that to happen.
Yeah. So my worry is, what is the intervention of the law enforcement? What is the intervention of the intelligence of trying to snoop into this kind of things and trying to find out what is happening in our country?
1000%, because,
you get me?
Yeah.
They have a big role to play in snooping for this kind of things. You can't wait for parents to pitch at police stations to say that my daughter is missing. Because even when you check the proportion, it's 55% girls compared to 44 of the guys, of males. You get me? So, like, there's no balance when it comes to that gender, and they see that it's continuously happening, but there's no agency in trying to curb it or try and manage it from our law enforcement and the government.
Because, like Theo's saying, we're not hiding these hotspots. Like, people around social media have literally gathered around. If you get an interview from these places, you must know it's a hotspot for human trafficking. So why are the authorities not going? Because these guys don't even bother in changing their location. They only change the names of their companies, but they keep operating in the same places over and over again. That's how arrogant they are. So how is law enforcement not getting involved? It's like with this case of Jocelyn Smith. you know, and the mother knows what she did. Most likely, she sold the child to a drug dealer because she wanted to get a fix.
And you know, trafficking and drugs, they go
hand in hand.
And remember, every country has a problem of drugs, if I'm not mistaken, or the majority of the countries. Let me put it that way. If those governments were willing to make sure that they alleviate the drug situation, it would have happened. If those governments, they were willing to like curb the situation near human trafficking in those countries, it would have happened. So it comes back to thinking from the top of your head that maybe there's a deep state within these things.
No.
You get me?
No, don't say that.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you.
It's impossible to regulate an industry that you are benefiting from.
You get me? So that's why they gradually seem to be overlooked or like try and manage, because they do this bylaws of this, just to make sure that they seem in the public spectrum as good people. But
what I've realized is that you know, life is a movie, man. Yeah, in the sense that the stuff that we witness in movies as part of entertainment,
it happens.
As part of entertainment, is happening in real life.
Yo.
Like the deep state that you're talking about, we've watched a lot of movies where there's always people behind the scenes that are running the show, you know, but people on the ground, they're not really aware of that. So we keep on saying, the law enforcement officers are not, you know, working and all of that. And it also makes me want to think about the current situation of the police officers that were killed, right? Yeah. They were on the case. They were onto someone, right?
They were onto something.
Yeah, they were onto something. They were onto someone, right? But where are they now? They're gone.
They found out something they weren't supposed to find out.
Yes, they're gone. So that also, for me, makes me want to sympathize with police and law enforcement officers when they when they shy away from pursuing certain cases, because they are also protecting their own lives.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was a policeman and I know that I can go after Theo, but I know Theo is affiliated with the commissioner, my boss, right? Yeah. And if I go against you, and you know how the procedural process in terms of like prosecuting someone, even to an extent of just arresting someone, it's a big thing, man. It's a big thing. You need to have a warrant. You need to have evidence. You need to have a whole lot of reasons to charge that person.
Yeah, it's a cycle that is unending.
But I know you're a criminal. I know you human trafficking. Of course, not you, Theo. Yeah. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I sympathize with the law enforcement officers, but I know also there are those that are fully corrupt and fully, you know, adopted this system and are like, yeah, I'll do it anyway.
True.
Look, what was heartbreaking about this whole thing also is my own people were just willing to sell me out they did all. Like the female receptionist, like I'm saying, she's South African, you can tell.
Imagine.
But she couldn't, like, we're just a purchase to her. We're not human beings. Do you know what? And even the security's at the gates. So you guys know what's going on. You're helping these people do this, and it's just chill. It could be your sister, it could be your girlfriend at any point. But
I think we're at a point where it's like, if you're not really personally or closely related to me, man.
But how easy because they're targeting people who want jobs. How many South Africans every day are looking for jobs?
Yeah, so if I'm a security guard at that company, and Kat is my cousin, right? Or is my sister, and she gets an email, I'm going to an interview in Randburg. Maybe at home they don't know actually that I work there, or they know that I work there, but they don't know what the company does. I know. Kat gets an interview, and is my sister, or is my cousin, or is related to me, or is my friend, a friend of whoever. Then they get there, they're here for an interview, you know, or even at home, they'll be like, oh, tomorrow I'm going for an interview. I'll always make means to make sure that she doesn't get there, because I know, you know, how the business dealings of that kind of caliber operates.
Yeah.
So I'm always thinking that these people, they don't care because it's not people that are related to them. And if it happens that it reaches people that are related to them, they'll always try to protect those people.
Yeah.
And it's with any case in terms of police officers,
True.
law enforcement officers, judges, magistrate, whatsoever. It's the same, bro.
Yeah, man.
You are objective to the people that you are not personally attached to, but when it comes to you and your people, you are very subjective.
It's corruption until it benefits you, then it becomes connection.
Okay, is that so?
So yeah, that's how the cookie crumbles nowadays. So
the people that you're busy criticizing right now on the podcast,
bro,
that by the time you link up with them and they be like, hey, yo, we heard you said whatever that you said about doesn't break it down, but listen, we forgive you, man.
Yeah.
We just want to bring you in.
Yeah, come and have a cup of tea with us and
okay.
Let's call it truth. Yeah. That's what it happened for.
That's another reality. Do you have something to say before we wrap this one up, Kat?
No, I have nothing to say.
But I'm so sorry, man, that this whole thing. Like I'm still trying to really.
You can't
make
even
sense
wrap
of it.
your mind around it, bro. Like it's
I don't think it's hit me yet. I find it funny. Like actually, I saw one of these scenes in a movie and I was in it, but it hasn't actually like sunk in.
Yeah.
Because I'm avoiding the depression that comes with the fact that I've been applying for jobs and now I feel hopeless because
now you're gonna apply for a job.
I don't trust. And at my big age, my mom was saying you can't go to interviews alone anymore. I'm so grown. It's disheartening that yet again because I'm a female. You know what I mean? Like it's just annoying. So yeah, I really it hasn't sunk in. Shame, but I'm a survivor. Yeah.
All right. Our last topic that we're touching on, Nozipho Mlotshwa, who is 32 years old, is a South African lab technician working at antiviral gene therapy research unit at the University of Witwatersrand, also known as Wits.
Yeah.
She was involved in HIV vaccine research, but the project was halted or paused due to funding cuts. Mlotshwa's team had been working on a promising HIV vaccine prototype that showed positive results in rabbit tests, according to a report on X. Nozipho has also worked as a viral load laboratory technologies at ICAP and Columbia University. So USAID, which is United States Agency for International Development, stopped the 45 million grant to the South African-led HIV vaccine development scheme known as Brilliant. So that on its own resulted to the whole research not being concluded. And when you think about this situation, you also want to factor in people that have also alluded before that HIV was actually created in the lab, and it was created as part of a depopulation strategy for the Africans, and it was distributed like that, So when you have people like Nozipho, people that are really champions into finding solutions for problems that are not naturally natural, but were orchestrated somewhere.
Yeah.
And then, when this whole funding thing happens, for me, it made me think that maybe the US aid and the aid that Donald Trump actually stopped was not necessarily because of what we thought.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, we thought we took these guys to Israel
and that's
then
why,
and then they said, no, you are coming against us, then we're going to stop the funding. Or it's because of the tariffs and whatsoever. No. I think this is one of the reasons. I think this is one of the reasons why actually we saw Donald Trump being aggressive with us. Because let's be honest, the medicines, what do they call the ARVs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, you get it from the government hospital, right? But government hospital, they are also purchasing it from the manufacturers of those pills.
Yeah.
Right? So government purchase the whole thing on behalf of the hospitals and then distribute it to the hospitals, and then patients of HIV and AIDS, then they go and get those pills. But that's money when you think about it. That's money for someone.
True.
So now when you are getting a fix for that, a cure for that, you're getting into somebody's pocket. Yeah, that's my whole idea. What do you think?
It is the right idea, considering the fact that when you look at its creation from ground in the early 83s, it was on the basis of depopulation of Africans. Now, then they're going to bring their USAIDs to fund innovative programs and do research on certain things that they know they don't want them to be on the forefront as solutions. So it becomes a thing of we just want to tap those black minds and see how far they are and see who is capable, who is not. Remember, the first trial was done. Then they had to tweak 4 different cycles of tests that had to go pre-clinical testings. That's when everything stopped and they were told to stop the trials and everything. Now, they won't allow you to showcase your brilliance of coming with solutions on what is a problem that they've created. You look at people like Sinamile Masango. Sinamile Masango was a nuclear scientist, the first black nuclear scientist in this country. She passed away mysteriously this year, February.
How?
Mysteriously, as I say.
What is that mystery?
We don't know. It was not there on the PR
tablets.
You get me. So like you get people like that. He has a whole master's in physics when it comes to nuclear things. Like, bro, we are speaking of black excellence. You get me. So people like that, when they try to showcase their brilliance into something, then mysteriously they are not around. Then you start questioning certain things. You get me. Right now, I'm not sure, but I overheard something about nuclear programs that have to start in South Africa and what so not. And no one is speaking about Sinabile Masango, the late.
Yeah,
may her soul rest in peace.
And is there a she?
She.
Okay.
Pardon me.
Yeah. No, I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
And she's not the first one, man.
Yeah, she's not.
She's not the first one.
Ngozi, the one from Cape Town, who was running grey water innovative system whereby they had.
I was about to mention.
You get me. So like he can't just fall out of a building in Cape Town, bro.
Why? Why would a person
you get me? Like those things are questionable. So it then questions you whether you would want to advance into solving problems in the country or like it comes back to that, bro. It's like we are fighting an unending cycle.
This is the same thing that happened to people like Patrice Lumumba.
Yeah.
You know, that you stand out and say, I'm really willing to stand out and come up with a real solution for the problems that we have.
Yeah.
Like Ibrahim Traore kind of a person. Because Ibrahim Traore is like, yo, guys, the situation that we are looking at right now will not work under the systems that we have right now. I've got a new system. We need a revolution. We need this. We need methodology 1, 2, but these are all radical methodologies and they're going against the norm. They're going against the systems of the system of the day. So for me, if they kill someone like that or they take out someone like that, there's another Ibrahim Traore who's growing in somewhere in a university student movement, somewhere in high school, somewhere there is a smaller Patrice Lumumba. There's a Nozipho Mlotshwa who is really interested in finding cure for cancer, cure for certain things, But when they find out about cases like this, they get demotivated. I hope she doesn't get killed or
look,
I just hope she's safe wherever she is, bro.
Donald Trump is a businessman more than anything. Right.
Okay, we're talking about Donald Trump now.
No, I'm trying to bring back to the why the funding was taken away. It's because like Theo said, that once a black mind starts becoming too innovative, they have to shut that shit down, because now you're going against the agenda. These diseases were made in labs for specific reasons, and they've become billion-dollar industries. Like cancer has become an industry, so has HIV. So now that you're finding a cure, my billions.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Yeah. So that's why Donald Trump, hence with the tariffs, like he's a businessman. It's not about the people for him. It's about his pockets and his friends' pockets. Who can make the most money out of this?
Speaking of friends, you look at people like Bill Gates. He was firmly, solemnly focused on the tech world. Right now, they've ventured into the pharmaceutical sectors. And and it happened before COVID. So like things like that, you get me? So
we just hope she really doesn't disappear. She's not the first. For this trial to get to it there were people before her that have been trying for years that they were just silenced. So now that she has advanced to the stage that she has, and now they've cut her funding, it's a way to shut her down. And I really hope that there is someone out there who can see that she's pushing something here, and we need to invest in our own minds, because relying on funding from the United States, and then it was never really going to work in the long run.
It comes back to the farmers of mind. Like, you need to know your African roots in order for you to survive. What if Nozipho did all these things in an African context?
What is the African context?
In an African context, whereby he's using African herbs, African things.
She could have.
Let's say hypothetically she would have done something like that.
Yeah.
Making sure that everything, even the packaging, labeling, naming, it's African. But you're already defeating the first intervention of them breaking your movement and your purpose at doing all this. You get me? So in that context, it comes back to our education system. It's more dependent on others than us. That's why we'll find ourselves reaching predicaments, reaching cul-de-sacs, points of no return. Because of such, we are learning from the opposite, not our own origin.
Yeah. And I mean, look, for me, honestly speaking, I can sympathize with the point that you're making, but also, here's my point, right? My view is that she was not trained in that field. She was trained in the scientific world. She was trained to come up with scientific medicine.
Yeah, that's why.
Not African medicine. So then the challenge then becomes when we don't have systems and schools that actually train people to produce stuff based on our African ways of doing things.
They're restricted for a reason, because they want you to be trained in that very same system in order for you, when you are about to get a breakthrough, then they can be able to say, nope, we are the handlers, we are the masters. You stop here. You get me?
You're making a point, but then again, listen to what I'm saying, right? Because what I'm saying, it takes me back to who we are as black people, or how we've been moving as black people. We have not been protecting our own. We have not been building our own systems. We have just been adapting and consuming and just even finding these systems. I look at how we never protected people like Dr. Sebi. People who came up with serious discoveries, natural discoveries, medicine, high-level medicine, stuff that can really help you as a person to really have like a healthy body and a healthy life. But when he was challenged and crucified and arrested,
black people will never die for you, Chief. But you need to understand that.
It's how we've been conditionalized.
You see, that's my problem.
Yeah, I think we need to remember more than anything that as Black people, like, we weren't always like this. Our brains were colonized more than our land was.
How do we decolonize ourselves?
They've conditioned us to believe that we need them for resources when we have everything already.
When do we stop that?
Yeah, the education system, it's a long line of decolonizing.
Neocolonialism is
the last
of
the last stage of imperialism. Okay,
yes.
cool. Yes, so. Understand that. You know, and it's funny because not a lot of people really understand life in that manner. You know, I watch a lot of people speaking about how we are still enslaved mentally. And Ngugi Thiong'o writes about this, decolonizing the mind.
I get it, we are new slaves. We wear chains.
Of course. I mean, we wear nice chains.
Yeah,
and
we
whatsoever.
are new slaves.
Yeah, but look, chains are nice, man.
They're nice.
Okay, I don't wear chains, but like chains are nice.
Yeah,
I mean,
guys,
think about it. Okay, but here's a point that I was trying to make. People like Ngugi Thiong'o writes about decolonizing the mind.
Yeah.
But when you read the book, if you start talking about stuff like that, you are a boring person, man.
Yeah.
Oh, you're crazy.
I'm not cool.
Yeah, you're not cool. You're not talking about the latest,
I'm not quelling
sneakers.
it on the highest level.
Yeah. The latest trend, the latest this and that. You are deep into your own stuff. Now you become really isolated, you know, because really the society doesn't want to move in that direction, honestly speaking. For me, honestly, you can be colonized to whatever level. But at some point, you need to realize this system is against you.
Yeah.
And Black people seems like
they
don't want to realize it.
Yes.
It's like, you know,
it's like they're still smelling the coffee.
No, let me tell you what it's like. It's like that girlfriend that is being abused. Every night, they are hitting her, even raping her, and doing all of those things. But she just keeps on begging that man and trying to.
Yeah, man.
I don't understand, man.
Remember, for an abuser to fully control you, they don't just start by hitting you. Obviously, if they start hitting you today, you're going to fight back. They start with your mind and break it.
They break your mind psychologically.
Break it so much
Our mind
that you believe that
they deal with your mind.
We believe we need them, not realizing that they need us more than we need them. It's always been that fact. But because they've conditioned us to believe that we need to impress the white man to get ahead in life, we need to speak English fluently to show intelligence. We laugh at people who make mistakes in English, forgetting this is not our first language. Do you know what I mean?
Language.
But because we want to tickle the foreign white men, so we go on that mentality. So it's the mind. It starts in here.
Yeah, 100%.
More than anything.
That's why Barike said Jatlapi. It's like a scape.
Yeah, of course. Language is tricky, Kat. You're mentioning language is tricky. What language do you think we could use to do podcasting if we're not using English?
I guess Konahal. No shame.
But I think Swati is nice.
Swati.
Okay.
As we can speak all languages of South African after all. Speak your language.
South Africa has a lot of languages, man.
Like, speak
this week I'll speak Tonga.
Let's accommodate each other.
Next week I'll speak Tswana.
This podcast won't make sense. We need to choose one language. What language do you think we can talk? I think sign language, guys. What do you guys think?
Chief.
It's part of the official language.
Yes, I get it. But you don't know it you yourself, Chief.
Are you fluent in sign language?
Yes. Do you know what this means?
You know basics. You only got basics.
I'm kidding, no. But listen, let me tell you why I say sign language.
Yeah.
Because that's the only language that can include everyone.
True.
Yeah. We can speak Zulu. The guys that are in the sign language community, they can't hear you. Now we're speaking English.
Can you please say something? Zulu?
Me?
Yeah.
No, man, we'll do that next time. The reason why I was asking you that question is because English as a language. There was a guy that I was supposed to interview on a Thursday interview.
Yeah.
And me and him come from the same town. We come from PCA, Mabopane. Sure. So now we used to meet at the Sunday, Saturday schools.
Yeah.
Right, when we were in matric. So we'd go he comes from a different school, right? So that's how we met. So we were both in the leadership school. So we'd also meet at the you know those SRC, LRC like conferences. Yeah, we used to meet there. Later on, we meet at UJ. And when we meet at UJ, he's doing politics. I'm on the marketing side.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But we meet, we talk, whatever. Up until today, we're still connected, right? So one time he went to China, and then when he comes back, I said, hey, man, how was your trip to China? He's like, hey, it was great. He tells me about all these interesting things. And I said, I must have you on the podcast.
Yeah.
Then you know what he said? He said, I'll come to your podcast under one condition.
Yeah.
We do it Kaspitori.
It would have been dope.
No, I don't agree.
I agree. It wouldn't be dope. No.
Why?
I don't agree. I'm from PTA. Spitori ka serata. Nice. Yeah. But we need to understand that the market that we're catering for is a big market.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you saying we're doing that episode for Pitori people?
Not necessarily.
And even when we look at the analytics,
not necessarily.
They don't make up 50% of the audience.
But then here's the thing. What if there's a possibility that the outside market that we are catering for would hear something different and they like it?
I hear you, but...
And it grows, it gets exposure, things that.
There's already multiple podcasts that do Spitori.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah. But it was only for that episode, so it wouldn't be such a fuss. You get me? Much of a big deal. Just that episode would have been cool for people who are on the channel who are regulars, just to keep it closer.
Toby will. Do you think Toby will have to add subtitles for a 1 hour episode? No ways, bro.
So what do you mean? Stick to English so that. Do we then stick to English?
I don't see English in that way of it's a colonial language.
Yeah, it's not.
You understand?
It shouldn't be seen that way. It's language, like
it's
any
language,
other.
Right?
It is a colonial language. At the end of the day, we shouldn't shy away from that. But not to say that we're not gonna communicate about it.
I was speaking of it. It's in a sense, it's a
language. I don't know if I
language.
agree with you there, bro. I think I disagree with you.
It should be seen as just a language.
Where Elizabeth, they ran with it. They made sure that everyone in the world made sure it's whatever.
Yeah. You know, funny enough, I was listening to. I know you guys don't like when I mention pen on the podcast.
It's not like you don't like your pen, bro. Don't push your own agendas. Pen, we love you, bro. Don't push your own agendas.
I don't even know you. So.
Okay, so let me tell you. Let me tell you what happens, right? So there's an episode that I watched with Marianne.
Yeah.
There's a lady that runs a podcast called Conversation Capitalist. Conversation Capital.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dope podcast.
Yeah.
Dope podcast. And Pen was the people. So the episode was focusing on the Q&A from the channel community. So they had sent questions. Yeah. So Marianne was actually interviewing him based on those questions.
Cool.
So then one of the questions came that what type of a person do you prefer in dating? You know, and he spoke about the description. Sure. And he said specifically, you know, a lot of detailed descriptions, but he spoke about language. He said specifically on language, I prefer person who's able to articulate themselves in English.
Yeah.
And for a pan-Africanist person, a person who's like African indigenous language, Africa, whatever, they will look at him as a person who is a sellout to say, why do you want a person who can speak English? You understand? But as I think about it, I'm like, what other language can Pen actually articulate himself best aside from English? Not even Zulu, bro.
True.
If he wants someone whom he can speak to and articulate himself properly, and that person can be able to hear him and also understand him. So that person will also be a person that has to be understanding of that language.
Yeah.
So
that language.
What you're saying.
Okay, the point that I'm saying is
he doesn't stand for what he stands for at the end of the day. Then, if you're a Pan-Africanist, then you're saying that you want someone who's going to articulate themselves in English. Why?
No, but we're not discussing Pen here.
I was just saying.
It's the point I'm making.
You brought it up.
It's an example.
Look, man, English is not a measure of intelligence.
Okay.
That's what I want to say.
Okay.
Yes, it is a
and
language.
Africans must not shy away from
And they shouldn't
English.
learn
Bro,
English.
why are you pushing the agenda of English, Kanto?
Africans
must
sharp.
Don't push the agenda of English.
Listen, what Africans should always remember that just because I'm here articulating myself in a certain way doesn't mean that I'm actually more intelligent than you are.
Bro.
You might be more
English
intelligent
is just
than I
English.
am.
That's
understand,
it.
guys. Why are you crucifying me? I understand.
No, we're
I
not
was just
crucifying
making
you,
my
Chief.
point.
We're putting emphasis.
Theo's criticizing. I'm making my point that let's be proud of who we are as a person first before we then want to laugh at people who can't speak proper English.
Yeah. Okay, we've come to the end of our episode. Thank you very much, guys, for
Shout out.
for your inputs. I think we are moving nicely into building this podcast. I'm really
Shout
happy.
out to the studio.
Yeah. And shout out to the studio, man. Yes. Eagle Vision Studios is where we are shooting this podcast. And of course, if you want to use this podcast, we'll link the contact details down there so that you can be able to, contact them and book your session. So you can utilize, the same equipment that we're using. You can bring your own kind of props. You can customize stuff. It's not really standard. I think you can. I'll ask Toby to actually add the number. Can you add the number on the screen? For people to contact. The studio. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was going to mention it, or maybe let me mention it. It's 079 860 9817. So 079 860 9817. It's Eagle Vision Studios. They will help you to bring your ideas to life in terms of podcasting, music recording, voiceover recording, as well as photo shoots. So if you're an artist, family, company, if you want to record you want to do a photo shoot, they cater for all of you in that department. Okay, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching up until this far. Theo, Kat, I appreciate you guys.
Shut up.
And everyone else who's behind the camera. There's actually a lot of us in this room. But
Toby,
The dream team.
Shut up.
yeah. Okay, that's it. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.